Hi everyone, this is Tuplex. Welcome back. I've installed a couple new mods. One is called Automatic Train Painter, and its function is to automatically color the train based upon the contents. I'm not really sure how well it works though, because I've already colored all my trains, but I set it so that it'll color the wagons as well. Let's see, if we look at the acid train, yeah, it's hard to see if those are really colored or not, but then again, they're practically empty, so yeah. So as we get more trains in the future, I guess we'll see how well that works or doesn't work. But that'll save us some time from having to look up the train colors and color them manually. I also installed recursive blueprints, which is a mod that allows you to use circuit conditions to automatically deploy blueprints using bots. I need to learn how to use it though, but the reason I want to use it is what I am going to demonstrate now. As you can see, I've added a couple more grid sections, and I've added a train here. Now this train contains everything I need to build one grid, and it also includes some roboports and a bunch of construction bots. And I've been doing this kind of I figured out a way to kind of do this semi-automatically to begin with. So, well, first of all, I want to go down here because I need to delete that temp station. So let me do that real quick, and then I'll show you how this works. And then the next thing I want to do is figure out how to do this automatically with recursive blueprints. I've seen that mod work before. If you're the type of person that's really good with circuits and combinators, then you'll probably love it, because you can essentially build an entire factory from scratch as long as you have the blueprints for it. There's some cool videos on YouTube. In fact, there's one where a guy uses it to build a grid-based factory pretty much automatically. It builds it one grid at a time in a spiral pattern. Really neat stuff. But anyway, I thought I could do something like that just to help automate the deployment of my grid squares, since they are somewhat time consuming to use. If I had fully upgraded personal bots, it wouldn't be too bad. But with the low-tech version of bots that I'm running now, it's a little tedious. That's a poll that I missed. So I'll show you how this works. I've only tested it once, so hopefully it'll work properly now that we're doing it live. All right, so I want to build a grid square over here. So the first thing I do, I made two blueprints. And this is what I call the deployment grid start. So here all I'm doing is, from an intersection, from one of these junctions, I'm building a station for the train that I'm in right now to go in and start to unload its contents. Okay, so I start with that one, and I just put it right here. And I need to get a couple roboports. Actually, I might be short on roboports. Let's see, I need 25. Okay. Yeah, so I need to have a couple roboports in inventory for this to work, which I had forgotten about. Actually, I need 3. So that's something I'll have to fix. I need to start with a few roboports already in my inventory. Okay, now in this case the bottom section is already built, but if it wasn't, that part would get built as well. All right, so I come out here, it builds the station, And the station basically has provider chests for the ingredients that the bots are going to need to build the rest of the grid cell. And there are some storage chests that it will use to place wood and stone and coal and stuff that gets picked up. All right, so now I have a station called Temp, so I'm going to send the train there. Once it arrives, it should start to unload everything, including the bots, into the RoboPort. Okay. And then while that's going, first I need to zoom out. And then I get my next blueprint, which is essentially the same rail grid, but it also includes some RoboPorts. Okay, so it includes enough RoboPorts to cover the entire grid. And once I put this down, the bots will start to build the closest RoboPorts. That'll expand the RoboPort range, and then once that happens, it can build more and more of the grid. Right, if I hold a deconstruction planner, then we can kind of watch the size of the grid grow. All right, there it goes. So now that that's set up, it can get to the next row of RoboPorts, power poles, and so on. And then the reach will eventually expand to where it can start to build the rail sections. Although I can see right there, it looks like the very far end of it is outside of RoboPort range. That is unfortunate. Okay, and I'll turn off my own personal robots so that we can see that this is all going to be done using these bots. Yeah, so ideally I would need to shift all the RoboPorts over by a couple of tiles. So that I can get the very end here that is currently being missed. It wouldn't be too hard to do. Yeah, I can fix that at the end, and it won't be too difficult. Okay, so while I'm over here, I am going to place another radar, because our radar coverage over here is not as good as it could be. There we go. Yeah, that way we can watch it all take place. All right, so it's a little bit slow. Could probably use more bots. I'm only using 350 just because 350 bots will fit inside the RoboPort, the first RoboPort. Yeah, and I think this one is still just a ghost. That's not there yet. Yeah, it's just missing this last power pole and signals there. That's not a big deal because when I build the next one next to it, it'll get built. It's really not a big problem, but I would like to fix that. Is that top section? Yeah, the top is getting missed as well. Okay, yeah, so the whole grid needs to go up and out. Up and over. Up by about 10 tiles and to the left by about 4 tiles. So I'll take care of that when it's done. Okay, this part didn't get built. Am I short? Ah, yeah, it's because I'm short one RoboPort. Put that in my trash lot. There we go. Now there's a debug setting as you can see, that you can turn on where it'll show robots on the map. And I've got this. I need to clean that up too. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Got some extra junk here. Okay, and then once this gets placed, then we'll go and build that part of it. There we go. And if you look at the map, you can see all the bots coming to pick up supplies in order to build that. All right, so it's not it's not super fast and it's not totally automatic, but I could theoretically, if I had my plane with me, I could theoretically bring the train over here, park it, and then take my plane to go do something else while this is happening. And then there's a specific deconstruction sequence that I follow to get all the bots picked up and the roboports and the extra power poles, because I don't want those inside my grid. Ideally, I just want an empty grid when I'm done. All right, so while I'm waiting for that, I'll show you, if you press F4, that brings up the debug menu, and there is a lot of stuff that you can select here to show, you know, your frames per second and UPS, so you can see how the game is running. Detailed info. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. But down here close to the bottom, this one where it says show logistic robots on map, that's the one that you want if you want to see the bots on the map. In this case, I do want to see them because I want to make sure that when I deconstruct all of this, that I'm not leaving any bots behind, floating around without a home. If you pick up roboports when the bot is, you know, outside of it and the bot doesn't have any place to go, it'll just sit there. It'll just sit there on the map, and you can lose bots that way because they're kind of hard to see. Okay, we're almost done, you know, except for the little parts that are going to get missed because my roboports are not quite in the best location, but we're nearly complete here. And then once the building is done, step 2 is to remove all of the trees and so forth. Okay. Yeah, so the build phase is now complete. And then the next thing I do is I zoom out again. I get my tree and rock deconstruction planner, and I select the entire grid like that. And then the bots start going around to pick up all the trees and rocks. And then those will go into these 4 storage chests that I have here next to the RoboPort. And with 350 bots, it gets done pretty quick. Yeah, this would actually be better from map view. All right, so there's a lot of bots stopping to recharge, which is typical. We can see that the RoboPorts are consuming lots and lots of power since there's so much charging going on. But they fairly efficiently get the job done. All right, well, that's working. Let's see. I'm going to check the settings on my personal. Here we go. Temporary stations. This is one of the mods I have installed. And with this switch to manual mode option, what it'll do is when you send your train to a temporary station by control clicking somewhere on the map, it'll just switch into manual mode when it arrives there instead of just waiting 5 seconds and then going to the next stop, which is the normal behavior. And there's no way to, at least as far as I know right now, there's no way to change that in the base game. You're kind of stuck with that behavior, and that's not really helpful in my opinion. I mean, really the only reason I ever want to use a temporary stop is to have a train go somewhere on the map and wait there until I give it further instructions. So that mod allows you to get that done. Okay, we can get rid of all this copper while we're waiting. Bye, copper. I know, like, it hurts to get rid of these big, beautiful ore patches, doesn't it? But never fear. We have many, many, many more on the map. I just don't want them inside my grids. At least not in this playthrough. In other playthroughs, I'll just leave the grid squares that contain ore patches. I'll just leave them empty so that I can do mining there. But in this case, I don't want to do that. I just want to have production inside my main grid and have all the mining done outside. It's just a design choice. Okay, so that's all done. And now we start deconstruction phase 2. And what I'm going to do there is I'm going to start to deconstruct the roboports and poles. So I actually have another filtered deconstruction planner for that purpose. Oh, you know what, before I do that, let me copy this entire grid. I'm going to hold down Shift, and I'm going to get rid of everything except for the roboports and the power poles. So that way, once it's all deconstructed, I can place this grid again in a better place, and then I'll grab another copy of the entire blueprint. Did I just lose that? Yeah, I did. Okay, let's try that again. So copy, hold Shift. I just deselect everything I don't want up here. Create blueprint and put it in my inventory. Okay. So now I start deconstruction. So what I've been doing is just one row at a time. You don't want to do more than that, because if the bots for some reason, well, I know why. I mean, if the bots get out here and they remove these roboports first, then all of a sudden these are no longer in range and it's not going to work well. Okay, so that's why I do them one row at a time. And if there are any bots inside any of those roboports, the construction bots should pick those up and bring them back and put them in a storage chest. So I shouldn't lose any bots by doing this. Okay, so I'll wait for them to kind of get within range of this row, and then I'll go ahead and deconstruct this one. And I just continue along like that until all the roboports are gone. Now, if you were to ask me if this is faster than how I was doing it before, honestly, I'm not really sure, but it is certainly something that could be done unattended for the most part. You know, like I said, I could park a train and then go goof around with something else while I wait for this to finish. So that's, at least in my eyes, that's the main advantage of this. Okay, we'll pick up that one. Now, last time I tested this, I did end up with one of the power poles that got stuck out there, just because of the order that the bots picked things up. So hopefully that won't happen this time. But you essentially need to work from the farthest point back towards the center if you want this to work properly. Okay, we'll grab that. All right, and then I'll get that one, and then this one. All right, and then this one, and then this one. All right. Okay. So then what I'll do is I'll just turn this around so I get all the excess stuff put back in the train. I'll put power poles back in there since, whoops. Right, those all get reused. The only thing that gets lost from this is the chest of wood, which I just destroy with my gun. Okay. The rest of the bots are going to be here in this one. So I put those back in there. I put the roboports, whoops. I put the roboports back in there, except for the 2 or the 3 that I need to hold on to. Okay, and then I start to manually dismantle this station. All right, let me help with that. There we go. Okay, now here's where the temporary stop comes in. I'm going to send the train out of here and tell it just to park over here, and while it's gone, I can take this apart. All right. So like I was saying, my next goal, if I have time to mess around with this some more, will be awesome. Will be to have this work with the recursive blueprints mod. And in that case, what I would want to have is just to be able to come here, plop down that stub, and have the rest all go automatically, you know, and have the mod deploy one blueprint after another, including the deconstruction blueprints in the right sequence until it's done. But yeah, we'll see. All right, so now I take the train back to engineering to refill. I'm not sure how I ended up with so much rail. I think I must have had a lot of extra on me. And let me get what I need. Oh, crud. I forgot to fix my blueprint. Okay, well, I know how I can do that. First, let me get what I need to make a few more RoboPorts before I forget. I just need some red circuits so I can craft 3 or 4 more. There's 2. Okay. All right. So I think what I can do with the blueprint is I'll just go to some empty place on the map and I'll fix that. Or actually I can go to any empty grid, can't I? I'll just go up to this one. Okay. And I'll turn off my RoboPort because I don't actually want to build anything this time. All right, so I'll take my original deployment grid. I'm going to need to zoom out again. Okay, and I will put that. Oh, you know what? That's going to be tough. Let me go to a different place. Because when I try to copy the blueprint all the way down to here, it's going to get some of that rail depot. So let me go up here to this one. That's got a radar, but that'll be easy to clean up. Okay, let's go to this one. This doesn't have a radar or anything. Okay. Great. All right. So I take my deployment grid and I place that down like that. Okay, and then up here I'm going to clean up the ends. And down here too. Okay. And then I'll take my deconstruction planner and I'll get rid of all of the RoboPorts like that. And then I'll take the RoboPort grid. Okay, I'm going to have to modify this. I need to get rid of these power poles down here, because I don't necessarily want those. And I need to get rid of this one as well. Actually, I need to get rid of these 2. Since those are going to be inside the station. And then I'll place those manually. Okay, so if I do this, let's just try to get this as centered as possible. That looks pretty good like that. Okay. So now with these placed down, I just want to get this there so I need to make sure that I have a RoboPort down here that's going to link up with the rest of the grid. Okay, so let's just do this. Okay. Yeah, that should all be good. And then I need a RoboPort there. No. There. Yeah, and the rest should be fine. I also need a power pole here. Okay. And I think that'll do it. So now I'll zoom out again. I'm going to Control C. The hard part is just getting the bottom corners set properly. I don't want to go too far. Like, I want to be right there. So I think right about there is good. Yeah. Okay, and then all the way out till we grab all that. Okay. I think I nailed it. Okay, so I'm going to delete that one. I can delete the old version. All right. And we'll rename this one. Deployment grid. Yeah, it could be a little, I missed the end a little bit here, but that's good enough for me. Okay. Let's put that one there. Oh, yeah, and I'm going to redo that first one too. This will have to change as well. The starting blueprint. All right, so for that, again, I'm just copying here. I try to get a few of the curved pieces here on the end just to help me make sure I get it in the right spot. And I can just come down to there. Okay, and I'll put a number 1 on there, so I know that that's the starting point. Deployment start. Okay. And that one I will place there. And actually, why don't we have dedicated spots for these. Okay. It seems that you can't make spots for specific blueprints. Okay, well, I guess that's fine then. And you know what? I don't really need the car there. I don't really use it anymore anyway. Okay, so now I need to clean this up. So I'm going to go in there. I'm going to kind of deconstruct everything and then shift and go over the same area again. That'll cancel any actual deconstruction orders. But it will It'll cancel any deconstruction orders, but it will permanently remove anything that's just there as a ghost. Right, so if you have a bunch of stuff that's been blueprinted down but hasn't been placed there yet, then that's what you can do to quickly get rid of all the ghosted stuff but leave all the physical items where they are. Right, so just take a deconstruction planner, select it to deconstruct, and then shift, select it again, and it'll cancel it. Okay, so I think I have a good blueprint now. So I think I'll try it one more time. If you guys don't mind hanging out for a little bit longer, and let's see how it works. I decided to ride in the train to do this because the train actually gets around faster than my plane does at this stage of the game. Hopefully later on I'll be able to get some upgrades onto the plane. All right, what have I got in there? 22. Okay, and we need 26. So that's 22, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And the others are for me. Okay, so let's figure out where we should put the next one. I suppose right here is a good spot. Although it'll be more interesting to see it build the entire thing. In this case, well, let's just do it there. In this case, half of it is already built, so it'll be a little bit quicker and easier than it would be otherwise. Nope. I'm saying nope because I see that there is some water in the way, so I want to get some landfill and clean that up first. Fortunately, I've been making landfill for most of the game, so 3 stacks ought to be enough. Actually, it'd probably be good to fill one of these cargo wagons with landfill. All right, so we'll come over there. Oh, I want to mention another thing I did since the last episode is I upgraded my armor because I was, well, as you all know, I was waiting a long time for my roboports to recharge. And I was looking into some mods that would help with that. I found one that could be pretty good. It's called induction charging. And essentially what it does is it allows you to stand within range of a power pole, and instead of solar panels, you put these little induction chargers in your inventory, in your equipment grid. And when you stand within the area of effect of a power pole, it'll charge your batteries. And I tried it out, but it was so weak that to me it didn't really seem to be much better than solar panels. So I uninstalled it. And what I did instead, since we do have the ability to make power armor, the only thing I didn't have were 40 blue circuits. So I just set up a couple machines to craft 40 blue circuits. And I made this. That gave me a bigger equipment grid. And I just added a bunch more solar panels, as well as some night vision goggles. So that'll help us see better at night, and then it also allows for my batteries to charge more quickly during the day, and hopefully that'll make enough of a difference. Okay. All right, so now I zoom out. I put down my grid. Oh, I need to do the landfill first. Let's do the landfill first. I suppose we could I suppose we could start without the landfill, and then I'll fix it. Forgot to turn off my personal bots. All right, let's see what's happening. There's the first one. There's the second one. Okay, yeah, and gradually more and more will start to come into range. Okay, so far so good. I think in terms of area, this is probably, well, I mean, in terms of production too, but in terms of land mass, this is probably the biggest base I've ever built, as evidenced by all the running around and flying around I'm doing. But I think that's pretty cool. I enjoy it. It's cool to work on such a large base. Goodbye, iron. All right, let's see how we're doing over here. Looking good. I don't have any radar coverage. That's okay. We can see where the bots are going anyway. Yep, there we go. Awesome. Okay. There's not much trees and rocks to clean up this time. So I'll go ahead and start that, even though some of the bots are still building. They're all busy. You know, it might be better, rather than starting down here and building the square up, it might be better to start here and build the bottom half of this square and the top half of that square, and that way all the materials will be centrally located. Okay. Looks like we're almost done here. And it is getting the entire build done, which is great. Yeah, the top corner takes a while since it's so far and they have to stop and recharge so much. All right, let's see what I've got so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so I've almost got 5x4, so we're getting there. We need 7x7, or at least we were planning to build 7x7. So I think with this, it'll make it, it ought to make it quite a bit quicker. Okay. And now we can start to take it apart. I missed a little bit of iron ore there. All right, now I wonder if one of these bots is going to come back for that one. No. Oh, maybe they are. Where the heck are all these guys going? Oh, okay. They're dropping off bots. Okay. That's why it's not picked up yet. There's 49 construction bots still inside there. So more bots are going. They're going to pick up the bots that are in there, take them out, and put them in a storage chest before they actually pick up the Roboport. There we go. Okay. So we'll do the next layer now. Next. Now with these guys traveling back, I think I'm safe to take those apart, even while these other bots are still on their way. Okay, take that one, take that one. Take that one. I think as long as I just make sure I get this one last, I should be good. All right. I used the wrong version of one of these prints somewhere. These were all supposed to be provider chests. When I originally made this, they were all storage chests like you see here, but then I didn't want the wood getting mixed in with the other stuff. All right, in this case there wasn't that much wood, so I'll just pick it up. All right, that's for the RoboPorts. 26, right? And that'll pick up all the bots. Okay. And then, once again, I'll tell that to come wait over here. And then I'll take the station apart. And I go back to get more supplies. Maybe a more efficient way for me to do it would be to build the next stub station over here. And then it can come back and refill and then go over there automatically while I stay back here. I think I'll try that next time. But anyway, it works pretty well. I'm pretty happy with the way that's working. So I will continue to fill out the grid, and in the next episode we'll start to build something that's actually going to make stuff. All right, thanks a lot for watching. See you soon. Bye-bye.